I'll be 3 minutes late, but that wasn't my fault. I left so early. I should have been there 10 minutes early, and then, fuck. So I have to take a piss in 30 minutes. That's the closest one they have. But until then, wasn't it something?
Good morning. It's Tuesday, September 23rd. I'm This is Apple News Today. On today's show, the chaotic fallout from the H-1B visa announcement, the last-minute intervention that saved a conscious patient from organ donation, and Jimmy Kimmel is back. Kind of. But first, to the White House announcement on autism. Yesterday, President Trump and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said they would be warning doctors against recommending Tylenol for pregnant patients, claiming its active ingredient, acetaminophen, was one of the reasons autism rates were rising in the U.S. There is no proven causal link between autism and Tylenol, and it's one of the few pain relief and fever-reducing medications considered safe when pregnant and used in line with medical guidance. At times in the announcement, Trump offered his own medical advice and encouraged people to limit their use as much as possible.
All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally you don't take it at all, but if you can't tough it out, if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it.
Untreated fever or pain can pose risks to a pregnancy and to fetal development. That's why pregnant patients have been directed to use acetaminophen in low doses and short durations. Administration officials did point to recent research that has drawn a potential link between acetaminophen, autism, and ADHD. One recent report, for example, from Harvard researchers suggested there likely was an association. But even in that report, one of its senior authors said further evidence was needed to confirm causality. Now, research related to pregnancy is naturally extremely challenging. It's hard to conduct controlled trials ethically or separate all kinds of environmental and genetic factors. But the body of available evidence, including studies spanning more than 2 decades of observation, provides no solid scientific basis for the administration's announcement, and the scientific community has been largely critical of it. For its part, Tylenol maker Kenvue disputed the administration's claims and said it was, quote, concerned about the health risks and confusion this poses for expecting mothers. There is a consensus that autism is caused by a mix of genetic and environmental factors, and the recent rise in diagnoses has been associated, at least partly, by a broadening definition of the condition and improved screenings. The other big announcement that came yesterday is that the FDA is set to change the label of the medication leucovorin to make it available to treat autism. The drug is a form of vitamin B9, which is an essential part of neurodevelopment. According to HHS, this establishes the drug as the first FDA-recognized therapy for kids with cerebral folate deficiency and symptoms of autism. Dan Diamond, a White House reporter at the Washington Post, told us there is some emerging evidence based on small studies that leucovorin can help autistic children and even some adults.
The theory is that during brain development, there might not have been enough folinic acid that got to the brain, sufficient nutrients essentially, that would have helped development, and as a result led to delays in speech, in understanding language. In these early studies, there has been significant improvement for some who have received this medication.
Similar to the acetaminophen announcement, however, Diamond says the administration isn't painting the full picture.
Even the researchers who have been doing this work say it's too early to say for sure that this is the miracle drug that the Trump administration wants to hold it up as.
Diamond says that while parts of the research presented by the administration are valid, politics also played a role in all of this.
And I've spoken with former federal officials who say they're aghast that the formal recommendation from the government is coming on such thin evidence. optimistic and wants to believe that there are treatments for autism out there and that perhaps this is going to be one, but it's so early and the data is so slight that moving this quickly could lead to problems in the future if it turns out that it's not the wonder treatment that the Trump administration wants to believe it is.
Now, on to the impact of another recent White House announcement, unrelated, about H-1B visas. The Trump administration said that it would be making big changes to this type of visa, which allows highly skilled international workers to come to the U.S. to work. There will soon be a $100,000 application fee for new applicants, a big increase from the typical costs of around $2,000 to $5,000. The H-1B visa works by lottery system. It's especially popular with tech companies, including Apple, financial institutions, and consultancies, and the majority of H-1B visa holders come from India. When the announcement was made last Friday, it raised a lot of questions.
The response initially was real panic and concern, even for large businesses that could stomach higher fees.
That's Andrew Craigbaum, an immigration reporter at Bloomberg Law. He told us that it was clear a lot of details were still being worked out. At first, the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, said it would be an annual fee. So many companies, including JP Morgan and Amazon, not knowing whether this applied to future applicants or current visa holders, sent frantic emails to their employees urging them to return from any travels and clear U.S. customs before midnight on Sunday, when the new rule was assumed to be coming into effect. But by Saturday, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt clarified that it was a one-off fee for new applicants not beginning until next year. Overall, H-1B recipients represent a very small percentage of the inward migration number. There's an annual cap of 85,000 people per year, but according to Craigbaum, they have an outsized impact on the U.S. economy.
This program is really the primary pathway for young international talent to start careers in the U.S. And so major overhaul to the H-1B program would have pretty huge impacts for a lot of employers and the economy.
This issue doesn't have broad support across Trump's allies. People like Steve Bannon advocate for dropping this specific visa program entirely, arguing that it allows sought-after jobs to go to international graduates who will accept lower salaries, and that companies could try harder to find skilled workers domestically. A 2020 study by the Economic Policy Institute found that most H-1B employers pay migrant workers less than market rate salaries. Here's Lutnick explaining the rationale of the administration.
No more will these big tech companies or other big companies
Bro, you have to fucking drive in here. Shit. You embarrass me so much. I know I'm parking manually, it's fine though. God damn it. Hello? Hey, I'm kind of busy. What's up, man?
Day job tomorrow in Florence.
Yeah, I confirm.
You're gonna be there, right?
Yep.
Another full day, maybe half a day or something. 40 an hour tomorrow, 9 a.m. Right? You
Yes.
have the necessary tools to be there before.
Yes, I know I'll be there. Add trip, McDonald's, skip, Tesla. How did I add so much time? Fuck. I was in the bathroom for a minute. Minutes? Fuck, bro. Pull over, bro. Fucking young. Ugh, fuck you, Tesla.
Big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land.
But many of President Trump's supporters from the tech world remain strong advocates for H-1Bs. Bloomberg reports that tech companies rely on H-1B visas to make up for the shortfall in science, math, and computer skills stateside. Craig Baum told us what it might mean to put a $100,000 price tag on each visa applicant.
It looks like, as of right now, that the fee would apply to cap-exempt employers, which include research institutions, hospitals, universities, nonprofits. It would basically price them out of the program